Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. We're speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese, on May 26th. Welcome back to the show, Larry.
Well, thanks, Jim. I'm happy to be back from the Cobalt show in Morocco.
Where it was a chilly 40 degrees Celsius?
Yeah, it was balmy. I call it balmy, 39 to 40 most of the days that we were there. And, that certainly is a rude awakening when you step out into that.
Larry, do you have some hot news for us out of Morocco?
Well, Jim, I've got, let's say it's really interesting news. Of course, we were at the Cobalt Conference. All our shareholders know that. It was attended by some of the big cobalt producers and the end users, and I'd say there's between 150, 200 attendees. We were certainly happy to be able to present our recycling program at the show, and I have to say that Norm Chow did an excellent job in doing the presentation. He was clear, concise, and enthusiastic and passionate about what he was doing. And it was very well received from the people at the show, and I've had confirmation on that by the president of the Cobalt Conference, and he basically said that everybody he talked to remarked favorably on it. So that was a great thing for us, and that way we put the message out to people that are in the industry to let them know that we are alive and well. That said and done, we met a lot of people. We had several one-on-one meetings, and we'll see if those meetings bear fruit in the next few weeks or few months. But there's definite interest in our project. But the one thing that I found at the show was that they kept downplaying the recycling. And this is, most of the presenters were talking about the supply, demand and supply. That's what the show was all about. And there's definitely a shortage, and it's building. And they are really looking at copper mines to fill that shortage, or some of the pure cobalt plays. And, some of that will happen. I doubt if any copper mines will go into production at these levels. And so, that leaves recycling. And recycling was at the bottom of the list. And in some cases, these guys talked about 15 years before a battery was ready to be recycled. Well, that's the party line of the EV producers, the electric vehicle producers. Rather than face up to the fact that they're going to have to recycle, they're trying to put it off into the future by saying second use for Powerwall units. And I had a good chance to address that at the Roskill roundtable. There was, I'd say somewhere between 70 and 100 people in there. And I went to the roundtable discussion. I saw there was a group of chairs in a big circle at the front of the class, and I went down to the front of the class and sat there. And, the guys were talking about the usual, the shortages, where is it going to come from, and how are they going to address it, and all of these things. And in the last 15 minutes of the talk, I started it out by saying, look, Jim, I said, look, guys, I said, I'm a layman, but I'd like to give you a layman's view on what's happening. And so I give them a bit of my history on my newsletter and everything what to do with commodities. And I said, I see that recycling's out there 15 years. I said, that's not a reality show. The reality show is that those batteries will have to be recycled as soon as they reach the end of life. If not, where are they going to get the cobalt for the next battery? You're either an EV manufacturer or you're a Powerwall unit manufacturer, but there's no way you can be both. And I'm sure that the Powerwall idea will be sacrificed to get the cathode materials you need for your batteries. I said, there's, there's going to be some substitution. There's obviously cobalt, will be added and a lesser amount and a lesser amount and a lesser amount, but that's not going to help the deficit. And so I got a good plug-in for the company. The one thing I'd like to mention is we've been told by government sources in the U.S. that cathode material has a 10% rejection rate. They call them scraps. And that's when you take the cathode material and you put it on a sheet of aluminum, which is the foil. And then you cut out enough to do a run of batteries, and if there's something wrong with those batteries, they scrap the rest of the sheets, or all of the sheets. They all end up in a recycle yard. We know that because we were approached to maybe recycle that material, but it was a very binding agreement, and we didn't enter into it. And but that's 10%. So if there's 45,000 tons a year of cobalt used, that means there's 4,500 tons of cobalt to recycle each year. That's a whole business in itself. And, you know, so we have to look at the reality. I also mentioned that there's 280,000 EV cars reached the end of life in 2015. It's expected to be close to 500,000 in 2020. So, you know, the reality for a company like any company out there, it's a huge business if you can recycle those batteries today and now, not waiting 15 years. And I tried to get that message across, and I took the rest of the time that was there, 15 minutes, to do that, but I was very satisfied that I did get the message across. So, all in all, I think it was a very progressive show on behalf of the shareholders of American Manganese Inc., that we were well represented, and the word is getting out, and that's the big thing, you know, the word getting out. It's obviously getting out because we're getting, you know, there's all kinds of recycling companies or companies talking about recycling cropping up almost every week or so. And we can't comment on those because they don't put any statistics out with their announcements about recycling. If you have no statistics, we can't comment on it. So, but the show was excellent, and I expect that will bear fruit somewhere along the line. And I expect that we'll have other meetings resulting from the show. And that's all I can say. Some of the stuff I already have confidentiality agreements on, and I can't talk about the parties that I met with. But let's just say that they're very significant.
Larry, for new listeners, can you tell us a bit about American Manganese?
Well, American Manganese is a critical metal company that's focused on taking their existing patented process for producing electrolytic manganese dioxide for the battery industry, electrolytic manganese metals for the stainless steel and specialty metal area. But our major focus now is that we can take the patented process that we use and adapt it to recycling lithium-ion batteries, and that's the focus of American Manganese at this time.
Larry, what platforms is American Manganese traded on, and what's its trade symbols?
It's traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol AMY. Its website is AmericanManganeseInc.com. We also are traded in Frankfurt, the symbol 2AM, I should say, and the symbol AMYZF in the U.S. I can be reached at lray@amymn.com.
And Larry, people can call you directly as well at 778-574-4444, right?
Yeah.
Larry, thank you so much for the update.
Okay.
My guest has been Larry Reaugh, President and CEO of American Manganese. We were chatting on May 26th. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at howstreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of House Street Media Incorporated.